There are many text editors out there that can be used. Text editors like Sublime Text, Atom, Emacs, Vim, even Notepad++. They are all very good text editors that we can use in this course. But for the purpose of this course, I'll be using a text editor called Brackets. For me, I like using Brackets because it's very convenient to use. Brackets is a free tool that can be downloaded from their site, brackets.io. If you decide you want to use Brackets, you can go to the site, bracket.io. When you open up the page, one of the first things you will see is the download link. At this point, the version is at 1.7. So to install, you just first of all click and download. The download will start. After you finish downloading, you just install. There is no too much stress about installing Brackets. You install like the way you install every other software. So I'll stop it. So after installation, you can launch Brackets. Once you launch Brackets after installation, this is how it looks. It comes with a default light theme, but there are some pre-installed themes that comes with Brackets. If you are not comfortable with using the light theme, you can change the theme. To change from the light to any other theme, you go to the View tab, click on it, then you see Themes. You also click on it as well. Then the Themes Settings dialog appears. On it, you can find the current theme, the font size, the font family. To change the current theme, you click on the drop down and you can find different themes. For me, I'll go with the Brackets Dark because I like the dark theme. So we click on the Brackets Dark. We can also change the font size from 15 to about maybe 16 or 17. We can leave the font family the way it is. After doing all the settings or changing the settings, we click on Done. So now we have the dark theme from Brackets. Now another thing we need to do is we need to install a plugin called Emmet. Emmet allows us to write high-speed HTML and CSS workflow. Now to install Emmet, you can do that through the extension manager. To go to the extension manager, you can go from the file tab, click on it, and you see the extension manager at the bottom. You open up the extension manager. To get Emmet, you just search for it from the search bar. Wait for it to load. Then once it opens, you type Emmet. It opens up. Then you see the install button at the side. So what you just have to do, or before you install, you can decide to read about it. Then it opens up in the browser. So it says it's a toolkit for web developers that allows us to write high-speed HTML and CSS codes. So to install, we go back to Brackets. Then we click on the install button. What it does is it downloads and installs Emmet automatically. If the installation is successful, we get a message. If it's not, we get an error. But in this case, the installation was successful. So we close Emmet. Close the installation dialog. To see how Emmet works, we can create a sample HTML file. We click on the index.html, right click and create a new text file called tests.html. Now we all know to write HTML tags or to write HTML codes, we need to have all the HTML tags, which includes the HTML open and close tags, the head tags, the title tags, and the body tags. Now, if we want to do that, we just have to start from the beginning, writing from HTML open tags with every other tags in it, then close the HTML tag. But we can do that easily with Emmet by just typing the bang sign or the exclamation sign. After we get that, we press on the tab key and it will automatically generate all the HTML open and close tags. This was done easily with Emmet instead of just writing from the beginning, from the doc type HTML down to the closing HTML tags. Also, another thing we can do with Emmet is if we want to include maybe an element, say a div tag with a class or an ID. We can do that easily with Emmet. Let's say we want to include a div tag with a class of row. To do that, we just type div dot the name of the row or the name of the class. In this case, it's called row. Now, the dot here signifies that a row class is added to the div tag. So we press the tab key and it automatically generates the div with a class of row. The same applies to a class or a div with an ID. So we type div, but in this case, instead of using a dot, we use an hash key or an hash symbol. Hash, then the name of the ID, enter or tab. We press the tab key. It gives us the div with ID of test. So these and many more are the things that Emmet can do. So when we start writing our HTML and CSS codes, we'll see that Emmet is going to be very, very beneficial to us.